Hi, I'm Kay Dean, and this is Fake Review Watch. Today I'm going to show you how 6 medical practices are using the same SEO company to supply fake Google reviews. You'll also see how easy it is to spot suspicious review patterns using simple spreadsheets. You'll also get a taste of how corrupted Google is with fraudulent reviews. Certainly, if I can see this fraud, one of the biggest companies in the world can too. So we'll start with Dr. Mark Mohrmann, who's an orthopedic surgeon in Manhattan. I already highlighted his fake Yelp reviews in a video I published called Yelp is Hazardous to Your Health Part 2. So let's get started and take a look at Dr. Mark Mohrmann's Google reviews. Today is July 19th, 2020, and we're looking at the Google reviews for Dr. Mark Mohrmann. You see that he has a 4.5-star Google rating based on 58 reviews. Let's click on that, and we'll sort by the newest. And let's start to scroll down, and we see how many reviews Dr. Mohrmann received just this week. Most don't even have comments. In all, there are 33 new 5-star Google reviews posted in a week's time. Now let's analyze this more closely by plotting these reviewers and their reviews on a spreadsheet. Here's a spreadsheet of 26 of Dr. Mohrmann's Google reviewers. 25 of these reviews were provided in just the last week. Down the left side is a list of businesses also reviewed by these reviewers. An X represents a Google review. The absurdity in the overlap of businesses reviewed by these people is striking. Google is telling us to believe that 19 of Dr. Mohrmann's recent patients all used the same moving company in Las Vegas, and 18 of them used the same locksmith in Texas. Perhaps even more incredible, these Google reviews say that 8 of Dr. Mohrmann's patients, Marcus, Alize, Solia, Rosie, Brittany, Lisa, Elizabeth, and Benson all use the same Las Vegas mover, the same Texas locksmith, and the same hotel in New Zealand. Amazing. Note that half of Dr. Mohrmann's patients also used a company called Insignia SEO. More on that later. Before we leave this spreadsheet, let's scroll down to Torrance Hyperhidrosis Institute in Torrance, California. Notice that 4 of Dr. Mohrmann's reviewers all used this same clinic on the opposite coast of the country. Let's look at their Google reviews. Today's July 21st, 2020, and we're looking at Torrance Hyperhidrosis Institute's Google reviews. We see that they have a 5-star Google rating based on 31 reviews. Let's take a look at the reviews and sort by the newest. Notice all the reviews left within the last month. In all, 18 of these 31 Google reviews were left within the past month. We'll now look at another spreadsheet. Here we have 20 Google reviewers of Torrance Hyperhidrosis Institute in Southern California. 4 of these reviewers were on the previous spreadsheet of Dr. Mohrmann's reviewers. 2 things are striking about this spreadsheet. First is the incredible amount of overlap in the businesses reviewed by these reviewers, which is clearly suspicious. Also of note is that all of the businesses in red on the left were also on the previous spreadsheet. Clearly, these businesses and reviewers are faking Google reviews. Notice that once again, Insignia SEO is prominent on this spreadsheet. Insignia SEO is a nationwide digital marketing company. I believe that the businesses on these 2 spreadsheets have hired Insignia SEO to provide them with fake Google reviews. Probably most, if not all, the people across the top are not real people at all, but fake profiles made up by Insignia SEO. Insignia likely has scores of these profiles, and the reviews are scattered among the various businesses who've hired Insignia. Insignia then throws in some fake reviews for itself as well. Before we leave this spreadsheet, I want to highlight the reviews by Marcus Wright, and Eric Dixon. You can see that they've each reviewed many of these businesses, but as we scroll to the bottom, note that Marcus is the only reviewer of Torrance Spine Institute, and Eric is the only reviewer of Torrance Hernia Center. Let's look at Torrance Hernia Center first, which is owned by the same doctor as Torrance Hyperhidrosis Institute and is at the same address. I've already featured Torrance Hernia Center in 2 videos documenting their fraudulent Yelp reviews. Today is July 21st, 2020, and we're looking at Torrance Hernia Center's Google reviews. They have a 5-star rating based on 70 reviews. Let's take a look at the 2 newest reviewers, Eric Dixon and Darlene Small. We'll click on Dixon first, who was on the spreadsheet, as were all these businesses I'll point out. Here are his Google reviews. There's Torrance Hernia Center, DML Locksmith, Mohrmann Logistics, Torrance Hyperhidrosis Institute, Monmouth Title. There's Mover Van Lines. There's another DML Locksmith, Halswell Lodge, and Red Apple Cabin Vacation Rental. Now let's go back and see what Darlene Small has reviewed. She's not on the spreadsheet, but notice she has reviewed many of the same businesses on our spreadsheets. Let's take a look at her reviews. There's Torrance Hernia Center, Mohrmann Logistics, Mover Van Lines, DML Locksmith, Kedma, Halswell Lodge, DuPont Motels in New Zealand, and Able to Hada the Mortgage Guy, all on our spreadsheets. These 2 new reviewers of Torrance Hernia Center have reviewed many of the same businesses on our spreadsheets. So Torrance Hernia Center also is part of this network of businesses faking reviews. So we've seen 3 medical practices and a slew of other businesses from around the country and even out of the country that have received Google reviews from so many of the same people that we must conclude that they are fake. Probably all of this is being arranged by the digital marketing company Insignia SEO. But those aren't the only medical clinics in this network. There are 2 more medical clinics in Torrance that I want to mention. Torrance Spine Institute was also on our spreadsheet with a review by Marcus Wright. And co-located is Torrance Podiatry Institute. Let's examine a few of the Google reviews for these 2 medical practices as well. On this spreadsheet, I've placed Torrance Spine Institute and Torrance Podiatry Institute at the top. I've plotted 7 of their Google reviewers here, along with other businesses these people have reviewed. Again, you see plenty of overlap in the reviews and many of the same businesses reviewed on the left. DML Locksmith in Texas, Mover Van Lines in Las Vegas, DuPont Motels in New Zealand, and of course, Insignia SEO, among others. Once again, these 2 clinics also appear to be part of our network involved in faking Google reviews. If we scroll down, yet another medical clinic shows up on our spreadsheet. This time, it's an Allergy and Asthma Center in New Jersey. Let's take a look at their Google reviews. Today's July 25th, 2020, and we're looking at the Google reviews for Allergy and Asthma Center in Hazlet, New Jersey. And we see that they have a 3.5-star rating based on 16 reviews. So let's take a look. We click on that and we're going to sort by the newest. And we see that they have received 5 new reviews within the past week. An analysis of these reviewers will show us that this doctor is also faking his Google reviews using the same SEO company. Back to spreadsheets. Here are those 5 new Google reviewers of the Allergy and Asthma Center in Hazlet, New Jersey. Once again, we note the tremendous overlap in the businesses reviewed by these reviewers. And once again, we see the familiar players on the left who have been prominent on all of these spreadsheets. So, the Allergy and Asthma Center is also part of this network faking reviews. So, we've seen 6 medical practices faking their Google reviews, all part of what appears to be a network of businesses faking their reviews through an SEO company.
This is just a small sampling of the utter corruption of Google reviews, and I find it appalling that Google allows this. What takes me hours to research and plot on spreadsheets would take Google algorithms seconds to do. But Google allows this rampant fraud, therefore abetting businesses who cheat, harming honest businesses, and, in this case, putting consumers at risk.